The Elders, Book 7, Part 2. The Lantern We Carry. There is a moment when a fire stops being something you stand in and becomes something you hold. The realm was no longer awakening in theory. It was awakening in practice, and practice is where courage is proven. When Elara stepped back fully into the chamber, the world did not pause for her return. It never does. Awakening does not wait for its lantern bearers to recover. It keeps moving. The lattice shone deeper than it ever had before. Not brighter. Not louder, more alive. Threads thrummed with thousands of unseen stories in motion. Friendships straining under long-hidden truths. Families changing shape, communities reorganizing. Hearts learning that honesty has consequences. And love that survives honesty becomes something truer than comfort. The elders stood before Elara, changed in ways they could not yet name. Cold iron carried cracks not of weakness, but of humility. Polished stone had lost its perfect sheen and, in the process, gained warmth. The unfamiliar elder looked less alone in their sensitivity. The silence watched all of them gently. Presence wrapped around the moment like careful hands around fragile glass. The presence pulsed in approval, not of perfection, of movement. Elara exhaled slowly. "I saw," she said softly, "what happens if we refuse to change. And what happens if we risk it?" No one interrupted. "I saw futures where we cling to control and shatter later," she continued. "I saw futures where anger breaks structures, but no one knows how to hold what comes after." Cold Iron swallowed. "And the others?" they asked quietly. Elara lifted the lantern slightly. "And I saw futures," she said, "where we do not get it right at first. Where we stumble, where we bleed. Where we grieve what we used to be." Her voice softened. "But we learn," the chamber breathed. Polished stone's voice shook. "What makes the difference?" they asked. "Between collapse and transformation?" Elara looked straight at them. "Who carries the lantern?" she said. The unfamiliar elder frowned lightly. "Just you?" they asked softly. Elara shook her head. "No," she whispered. "That's the point. It cannot be me alone." She looked up at the lattice, at all those lives, trembling, reaching, resisting, choosing. "This was never meant to be the story of one girl," she said, "or of one council, or one realm trying to save itself through a single symbol." She lifted the lantern and, for the first time, it shimmered. The gold within it loosened, not weakening, expanding. Light did not blaze outward. It branched like roots, like constellations, like a network remembering it had always been connected. Small, subtle threads of lantern light extended outward through the lattice, finding hearts ready to hold warmth instead of armor, and where it touched, hands lifted. Not glowing, not chosen, just human ready. Across the realm, people began to feel it, a warmth that wasn't instruction, a light that wasn't control, a strength that didn't demand numbness. It did not tell them what to do. It reminded them who they were. A woman standing in the middle of her kitchen, shaking with grief and fury and love she didn't know how to live, suddenly felt something inside her whisper, "You don't have to do this alone." A child sitting under a table because the world felt too loud suddenly saw in their mind a small golden glow and felt brave enough to crawl out and find someone to sit beside them. A man who had spent his whole life pretending he wasn't afraid finally admitted, "I'm terrified." And instead of crumbling, something steady rose beneath the confession. Not confidence, belonging. Back in the chamber, the polished stone elder's voice trembled. "What is happening?" they asked. Elara's answer was not grand. "They are remembering," she said. Cold Iron blinked. "Remembering what?" Elara looked at them gently. "That the lantern was never magic because it burned," she said. "It was magic because someone chose to hold it." The elders went still. Truth does not always roar. Sometimes it settles like a weight that feels strangely like relief. The presence surged once, bright and warm. The silence's voice softened. "There has always been a misunderstanding," it said. "You believed power meant control. You believed safety meant sealing. You believed love meant protection from feeling." It looked upward as threads brightened, not with perfection, but with participation. "Real power," it continued, "is learning how to stay with what is real without running. Real safety is learning how to stand together in truth. And real love is not the absence of pain. It is the refusal to abandon each other in it. Cold Iron's eyes burned. That, they whispered, was what we forgot. Polished Stone bowed their head. That, they said, voice breaking, is what we will become. The unfamiliar elder let tears fall freely. Then let us begin, they whispered. The presence pulsed once more. The lattice shifted, not dramatically, but decisively. It no longer looked like a ceiling over the realm. It looked like something woven through it, not watching, walking with. The silence felt it. So, it murmured in quiet awe. This is the world becoming. Elara stepped forward. For the first time since the beginning, she did something she had never dared. She loosened her fingers from the lantern's handle. Gasps echoed softly through the chamber. She did not drop it. She did not pass it to a single elder. She did not hold it tighter. She held it open. The flame did not weaken. It multiplied, not into many lanterns, not into spectacle, into presence. Everywhere the realm allowed itself to feel honestly. A soft, human-scaled warmth answered. Not eliminating pain, not fixing everything, but refusing to leave? She looked at the elders, not above them, not below, with them. This was never mine, she said quietly. It was always ours. Cold Iron fell to one knee, not in submission, in gratitude. Polished Stone followed. The unfamiliar elder bowed their head. Not because power demanded it, because humility finally felt like strength. Beyond the chamber walls, something subtle yet seismic occurred. People stopped waiting. Not for permission, not for rescue, not for a savior, they began becoming. A village created a shared table where people came nightly to speak, cry, laugh, disagree, and stay. A healer began teaching others how to listen without trying to fix. A stubborn old official walked into a gathering and, hands shaking, said, "I was wrong." The world did not roar in triumph. It softened, and that softness was stronger than iron. Elara took one long, slow breath. "This is not the end," she said. The words rolled through the chamber like a vow. The silence nodded. "No," it agreed. "It is the beginning of a world that can hold itself." The presence settled, not leaving, but trusting. The lattice hummed with a steadier rhythm. Cold Iron stood. "Then let us become with them," they said quietly. Polished Stone nodded. "Let us learn," they whispered. The unfamiliar elder smiled. "Let us walk," they breathed. Elara lowered the lantern gently. It no longer glowed like a singular beacon. It pulsed like a shared heart. The chamber did not collapse. The elders did not disappear. The silence did not fade. The presence did not withdraw. They remained. But something profound had shifted. No one was the center anymore. The realm was. And the realm now carried light. Somewhere far from councils and temples and woven skies, in a forest where shadows had once devoured courage. A path lit softly. The dark forest no longer felt like the place you went to survive your terror. It felt like the place you went to remember you were never alone in it. A figure might one day walk here, carrying a lantern, offering it not as salvation, but as invitation. But that moment belonged not to Elara, not to the elders. It belonged to the one who would one day stand before the world and ask, "Will you carry it?" For now, the realm breathed. Not in numbness, not in fear. In life, honest, unfinished, becoming. And as the last echoes of stillness folded gently around them, the silence whispered the only truth that mattered. They are ready to walk now. Elara smiled through quiet tears. "So are we," she said. The lantern pulsed warm. The lattice glowed deep. And the story did not end. It continued. In every heart, willing to hold even the smallest spark. The lantern was never the miracle. The courage to carry it was. I am Elara. And the story you've just walked through was never about a girl in a forest or elders in a realm beyond reach. It was about what happens when a person chooses to face their inner world instead of running from it. I walked through shadows, not because I was fearless, but because I was willing to listen when my own thoughts tried to rule me. The forests I crossed were inner ones. The realms were thresholds of self. And the lantern was never power given to me. It was awareness. It was the moment I stopped asking to be saved and started trusting the light I had carried all along. I didn't hold it to guide others from above them. I held it so they could recognize what already lived inside themselves. Every step you watched me take was strength remembered within me. And if this story moved you, it's because some part of you already knows the truth. You were never empty. You were never lost. You were simply waiting to remember that your light does not need permission to shine. So now the story does what all true stories must do. It releases you. Because the lantern was never meant to stay with me. It was always meant to be recognized in you. Lanterns up, my friends. Carry it forward, not because you are ready, but because you always were and always will be your own light. Lanterns up.